G'day everyone and welcome back to the show. It's Mr. Ethics, the good guy in the industry, and Mr. Growth, the not so good guy in the industry.
Yeah. Oh, look at that, Mr. Ethics. Oh, I'm an ethical provider. Yeah. Well, I'm not. I'm Mr. Growth. My job is to help people make money out of the industry so that they can stay in the industry, keep serving people, which may be viewed as unethical.
Welcome everybody to our second podcast with Mr. Ethics and Michael, Mr. Business. And here we are talking about referral generation, temptations, are waitlist selfish?
And we're going to love this, guys, because Ward and I have very different perspectives on this, and that's what makes this show fun. We do not pretend to know all the answers, but we're happy to ask some hard questions. Yeah.
And how funny is it we agreed in the end of the last one, but I can't see us agreeing at the end of this one.
Which is good. That you watched. There'll be twice as many downloads to this one. All right. So what do you see, Ward, that either drives you stupid for the sake of participants dealing with it or for the sake of just whatever from Mr. Ethics' perspective about referral generation done badly? Okay. By the way, have you got a referral for me? Sorry, I was just impersonating a service provider. Okay, got it.
Well, we can talk about that, mate.
Yeah.
The thing is, not everyone's good at everything. And in this NDIS space, everyone says, we offer SIL, we offer CAS, we offer allied health, we offer in-home supports, we offer transport, we offer all this sort of stuff. But they don't break it down and say, you know what, we offer high intensity supports for individuals with lower limb conditions really exceptionally well. But ASD for a 5-year-old, we're not really good at. We prefer to find someone else for that. Whereas everyone says, give me every referral and we'll work with them. And within 6 months, if you're working with that 5-year-old ASD kid, it's not working out for either one. You get a bad rap from the individual. Mum's tearing her hair out going, you know what? You promised me all this stuff. You're not delivering on it. You haven't got the right supports in place. Johnny's just going wild. He's not achieving any of his goals. We're going to look for another provider. The support coordinator you've been referred through, you've burnt them as well because you know what? You promised all this stuff. Oh, yeah, we can handle this. We can do this. We can do that. You haven't lived up to your promises. That's where we're at.
Yeah, I guess that's often a new provider issue because a new provider dreams that they can do everything, or they dream that, there'll be 1,000 people out there in the world that I'll partner with and I'll send them people I'm not built for and I'll receive people they're not built for. But then reality hits and they get 0 referrals incoming and all they're doing is redistributing work to others. But then there's so few referrals going out at the moment anyway, that it's not such an issue. But it's that dream that I can look after everyone, which comes from a good intention. Oh, no person left behind. It's like, well, that's a great intention, but the reality is we're only good at a few things.
Yeah.
And if you've got a staff of 1 or a staff of 2, how many things do you need to be really good at? Like, so I feel like there's, from a growth or business perspective, this is utter silliness. You're looking at it from the ethics here going, it's dishonest. I'm looking at it going, it's not profitable. Because if you want to profit in the long term in business, you must have a niche. So your niche is NDIS and aged care, ethical TIC, join the club. And if someone comes to you and asks for something outside that, you're like, I can't help you, sorry.
Yeah. Like if they asked me to build a website, I couldn't do it.
It'd be fun watching you. I'd enjoy it. But if someone's like, Michael, can you build a website? Like, sure. And can you build a website for a musician? I'd be like, no, hell no. I've done that before. They are disorganized as crap. I'm not working with another musician. Can I do it for an NDIS provider? Absolutely. Because I was a provider for many years and I know the language. Yes. So you and I know what we're good at, and we're not silly enough to step outside it, but it is such a temptation for new providers or for desperate providers. Well, what's your take then on waitlists?
Look, I don't see the value in them. I see that you're just, again, not fulfilling a promise that you're saying you can service someone's supports. You've got people out there that are desperate need for supports. Why not say, you know what, our books are full at the moment. How about we help you find someone else that can actually assist your needs right now?
That would be honest. That would be integrity. I get that.
It would be.
And we used to, I used to be bewildered when this is back in, say, 2021, 2022, where wait lists were abundant. Right now, I know of so few providers with wait lists outside allied health. Like it's almost like a null and void conversation. But I remember back then being bewildered that people would get on wait lists and they'd sit there eternally. How can you be on a wait list eternally? How does that work? Where's the transparency for a wait list? Where's the regular update of, look, we're estimating it'll be 6 weeks?
Yeah.
I don't understand that. So you're saying wait lists are selfish, and I can see why. From an ethical position, yes. Are there any other reasons from an ethical position that you would say wait lists shouldn't be there?
Well, I think probably just as I said before, the person needs those supports now because that's why they're reaching out to you. If they don't get those supports for another 6 weeks, will their behaviour increase? Will their ability to actually do something decrease? Will they not be able to function as well as what they could? Like I look at my dad with the motor neuron. If Dad had to wait 6 weeks between signing up and actually receiving supports, the deterioration with him in that 6 week period was huge.
Yeah,
They can't wait 6 weeks. You can't wait 6 weeks.
that makes so much sense. I get that. I guess the other perspective, if we wanted to put on the Mr. Growth hat and pretend that we don't have ethics, which, we both do, but for the sake of this, pretend my only focus was business growth. It's like a wait list guarantees that you can do payroll in 2 months, in 3 months, in 4 months from now. See, if you've employed, say, 20 people, or who knows, 120 people, but if you've employed them, you need to know that they've got work in 2 months or 3 months, because if they don't have work, who's going to pay them and from what revenue? And the margins in NDIS and disability are so thin, I don't see how you can operate without a wait list. If you don't have a wait list, it's time to start doing some serious marketing. So then what do we do with that? Because wait lists give the owner certainty that they'll be able to pay their staff, but then wait lists, you're saying, are very selfish, and I would agree with that. So what are we supposed to do with that, Wood?
Well, can you see this from the perspective of the individual too? If I'm sitting on a wait list for 4 weeks and I hadn't heard back from you, I'm going to look somewhere else. Today's day and age is a now society. We want it now. We need that support now. We don't have the luxury of waiting 6 weeks to actually get the support. So if I'm waiting on a wait list for a period of time, I go, you know what? I'm going to look somewhere else.
And I would encourage them to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I guess there's a difference between somewhere suburban looking for a support worker where they're abundant compared to, say, someone rural looking for an OT so they don't lose their funding. Like, that's a very different situation. I think that person's completely willing to be on a wait list. But I also think that if they're on your wait list and you're not communicating at least every 2 or 3 weeks, here's where the wait list is up to, by both email and text. Not everyone reads their emails.
No.
Tell the truth. Look, I think it'll be 9 weeks. I don't know. Just tell the truth. Like, what could go wrong? But I would love to see every business I work for having a wait list, because it means I don't have to worry that director's going to be tearing their hair out in 6 weeks that they don't have money to pay staff. But I'm also not blind to the obvious truth of what you're saying, that wait lists are actually bad for participants.
But I was going to say, do you think it's detrimental for the business as well to have all these people on a wait list?
It's detrimental if you don't communicate with them. But the sort of business that has a wait list doesn't care. You see, you used to see this highly uncaring attitude from allied health. They just didn't care. But that was back when they couldn't cope with demand. Those times have changed. Allied health are now short of staff and demand is drying up. It's drying up fast. So I think people harvest what they plant. And if you plant poor care about how others are feeling, or at least poor communication, it won't be great for your reputation. But at the end of the day, as long as there's a shortage of whatever you do, whether it's OT in a rural area or, whatever it is, people can carry on like pork chops and there's no consequence.
Yeah, but with technology nowadays, what about telehealth for an OT?
Telehealth's great until you need someone to come and have a look at your bathroom.
But can't you do that visually as well through a camera?
I don't know the answer. I just know the OTs that I end up working for, when they describe the process of fitting someone to a bathroom or fitting someone to a new toilet in their bathroom, whatever, there's a lot of hands-on sort of training demonstration. And I think that telehealth, part of me wonders whether like you can always do some by telehealth, but you're going to need someone to demonstrate stuff. But then maybe I've just fallen for the marketing. I don't know. What do you think? Your dad had a lot of that.
Yeah. So why can't the OT be on a Zoom call like us and have a support worker there, and the OT actually instruct the support worker on how to do it while they're there?
I think that's a brilliant idea. But I'm not an OT enough it works. But
I'm not an OT either, so I don't know the
if all the OTs listening, they're like, "Oh, Ward, Michael, stop it." It doesn't matter. Okay. Either way, what you're talking about is efficiency and business efficiency that would reduce the need for waitlists. Look at all that allied health travel time that could be turned into helping people time. Is that what you're looking at? What are you looking at?
Yeah, 100%, because a lot of the travel's been taken away from individuals for the allied health nowadays too. So just another option for people.
You're Mr. Ethics, okay?
Yeah.
Pick something that no one else is willing to call out. What is it?
Mate, I think that there's a big scary thing in the NDIS at the moment.
Scary. Okay, what's the big scary thing? Go for it.
Well, I think it's putting a lot of people at risk, and that's the NDIA itself.
NDIA?
The NDIA is what they're doing is they require all these FCAs and OT reports, and people charge a bucket load of money for them.
About $3,500 for a functional capacity assessment.
Yep, comes out of participant plans, and guess what? The NDIA don't even read them when they're redoing a plan. And they've actually come out and admitted that.
That was earlier this year, saying, yeah, we don't have time to read reports. It's like, well, you've got time to demand people spend $3,500 on a report. Like, why would you not read a report? Well, what's broken there? And what needs to happen, Wood? I mean, does that mean NDIA doesn't get the ethical tick? Is that what happens?
Not at the moment, they don't. Well, the thing is, they're cutting people's plans. And the majority of time, people are getting an FCA or an OT report done to highlight the amount of supports that they need. And it's usually for a change of circumstances to increase the level of support. And if they're not reading the plans, if they're not reading the reports, then people think, well, do we really need an increase in the plan? No, we don't. So we'll just cut it.
Well, it's like, well, what's the point of getting a report that someone doesn't read? It doesn't make sense. But I mean, the thing is, if someone cuts your plan, but they haven't read all the reports, what are they basing that cut on? Like, how does that work? I don't understand, Board. What am I missing here?
So from my understanding, I could be wrong, but the reviews go through a lot of AI technology nowadays. And if the right wording's not in that, it doesn't get picked up.
You're kidding.
So therefore, it goes through to the human to create the plan, and they just tick a box, and then that generates a plan and the amount of the cost of the plan.
Is this a conspiracy theory, or is this actually how it works?
Well, I've heard from people on the inside that that's what happens.
You're kidding.
But this was earlier in the year.
So you asked ChatGPT, do I increase this plan or do I cut it? And
Google it, yeah.
That's so funny. Do you know, last night I was at the gym and I got a very sudden headache and I asked ChatGPT, am I okay? And it said basically you could die. I'm like, oh, stuff it. I'll go home. At least I'll die at home. Anyway, ChatGPT told me I was going to die. Obviously I didn't take it too seriously. But if ChatGPT is the equivalent of the one making decisions about people's lives, we've got a problem, you know. But then, I don't know, like, you've got insiders telling you that. I just love using the word conspiracy theory. So I hope it's a conspiracy theory. Something tells me it's not, because Mr. Ethical's telling me it's not a conspiracy. So go figure. Profit. Okay, Mr. Ethics, Mr. Growth. Okay, you're going to love this one. I'm going to put you on the spot. Okay, Mr. Ethics, Mr. Growth is going to put you on the spot right now. Okay, what profit would you say is fine in Mr. Ethical's magic frameworks for a business owner to have out of a decent sized NDIS business?
I suppose it depends on the actual business itself. I don't think you could actually put a physical number on it, and I'll explain why. Because I think a lot of people make a profit and then put the money back into their staff for training, or they put it back into growth in their business.
Yeah, well, in that case, it's not a profit. In that case, it's turned back into expenses.
Exactly right. Yeah, exactly right. So it depends on how you look at it. So probably the NDIS base it on 2%, isn't it?
They would say that, which is a ridiculous figure.
It's
Ridiculous.
absolutely crazy.
Because what happens when you have to start paying payroll tax of, say, 5 or 6% on your staff pays?
Yeah.
This is a special guest. This is an edit of a conversation we had with them on another day. We're going to put that in this podcast, see what your thoughts are. Let's see how there were some other questions. How on earth does any director who is not earning the most in their business, not even earning as much as their second in charge, how do they stay afloat? Because long term, there's this little part of us all that says, why am I doing this? Like, what do we need to know about that, Michael? And how do you deal with it?
That's right. It's like you're reading my mind, because this is like a LinkedIn post I've been thinking of doing. Is it right for the business owner to be paid less than some of their staff? And I think it actually can be. I'm going to go way off script here and talk about my family business back in Ireland. It's steel fabrication. My grandfather started it off. My dad and his 6 brothers went into it, but they hired a chief engineer. And the chief engineer was paid the highest salary above the managing director, above all of the directors of the company. He had that higher salary, higher pay rate. And I think that is okay if it adds value to your business. I mean, it's not about who's paid more. It's about like growing the business, moving forward. And if you can bring that quality and value, you're going to get more revenue. And instead of thinking, hey, I want paid more, let's have a smaller piece of a bigger pie than a larger piece of a smaller pie, so get those. If you can add quality to your business, do it, get them in, and you'll reap dividends from it. It might not happen immediately, but over time you will reap dividends from the investment.
Right. The special guest, it is packed away. Let's get back to our conversation that we had before that.
So I can't put a number on it, but you being Mr. Growth, what sort of profit margin do you think NDI's business should be working towards?
It depends if they're good at life or if they're crap at their business. Okay, so there's some people who are really good operators at helping people, but they have no idea on business and they'll make very little. And really, they should just quit now and go back to working a job because they'll make more money. Okay, and then there's people who are outstanding at growing a business, not just at helping people. And if you're good at running a business, you should be taking home 150K minimum as a director. And if you're not, then you need to seriously question what's going on. So the factors there, Ward, are if you're not the highest paid person on your team, we have a problem. We have a business problem. It needs to change.
Yep.
Okay. So there's really good business coaches like, say, Paul Bryan. He'll look through systematically all these different areas and find a few wins from each area to give you back your money. Okay. And then there's crazy people like me, Ward. When I work with someone the first 2 months, I don't look at what Paul Bryan looks at. I'm just like, right, where is the money going and why is it going to these things? And the first thing we'll do is cut silly expenses. Like, why do you have a BDM for 125 grand a year who's not bringing you 125 profit? Job 1, change their role. Okay. That's a nice way of saying, let them go if you have to, but change their role at minimum. Okay. And then look at, well, what are you not invoicing for that you should be? Where are you not charging fully up to the price guide that you should be? What about your overdues? Why are you letting things sit in overdue forever? Get on the phone, get that sorted ASAP. I was working yesterday with someone who one of his participants owes him 50 grand. And I'm like, what is with that? Like, that's not okay. Like,
yeah,
you can't, like, get on the phone.
How can you run? How can you operate?
Well, to be honest, it's sort of normal in the industry because NDI is so slow to pay bills. Yeah. Well, plan managers are so hard to work with, but as soon as something's not inside the box, and not, 1 + 1, they struggle. But it's like, you got to fix that. He showed me someone else who owed them 30 grand and someone else who owed them 20 grand. I'm like, job 1, sort that. Okay. Because otherwise these people's plans are going to run out. You're going to miss that 50 grand. And then what? So really it's like, how much should someone be making? If they're good at business, they should be taking home at least 150K. If they're not good at business, well, work towards that. But it's not like these are dodgy people. It's like the executive, the leaders of any business should be earning that much. Otherwise, go and be on staff. Go and earn 100 grand without the stress.
Yeah.
And so where Mr. Growth over here might get a bit of a reputation as someone who just says no, cut it, or no, change it, is because if the director's not earning a lot of money, then there's no incentive to be a director, and we won't have directors. And then what are we going to do? We're going to be in the hands of all these like behemoth, nasty companies that care nothing for people, only for themselves, right?
This is a special guest. This is an edit of a conversation we had with them on another day. We're going to put that in this podcast, see what your thoughts are. Let's see how there were some other questions.
You've got rising costs, but decreasing revenue. And when those two lines meet, you're like, why am I doing this anymore?
Yeah, that's a conversation I think I've had with people 10 times in the last month. They're saying to me what you're saying. Like, hold on, how am I supposed to win? It's like you're trying to play Monopoly and the amount you can charge when they land on your property's gone down, but the cost of property skyrocketed. You're like, I think I need to play a different game.
Yeah.
So what would be your advice to people finding themselves in that spot?
Well, I guess like I don't think there's a clear answer here what to do. Like, I guess in terms of business models, you got to be lean and mean. You got to kind of strip out all the fat. And I mean, in terms of my business is mainly physiotherapy, so I don't have a commercial lease. I'm not leasing a building, and thank God I'm not, because if I was, I mean, that's a huge cost. So we do get to put that kind of revenue into staff through podcasts through subscriptions and vaccinations, parking permits, all things like that. So my advice would be really to try and kind of get your business to a more lean model that's sustainable in the climate that we're going into. I guess it all comes down to what you really want. And you gotta, like, money is one thing in that. I mean, take me, for example, I'm a business owner, but my wife works a construction job and she leaves here at 6 a.m. She's not back till 6 p.m. We've got a son. So because I'm the business owner, I can leave my son to daycare. I can pick him up. I can like nip out at lunchtime and get a few groceries and things like that, you know, and that works for us. It works for our lifestyle. You've got to, if it works for you, it's what do you really want? And money's one part of that. So yeah, if it works, at the minute it works for me. It works in my life. Me, the wife, and 4-year-old. It works for us, and I love it. You know, I wouldn't change it. So I'm not going to go hop and work for someone else, because if I did that, I'd be like, oh, I got to clock in here at 8:30, 8 o'clock. I got to clock out at 5. But instead of, I run my own business. I'm available 24/7, but I'm not. It's not like 8 to 5. I'm kind of I don't mind that. I don't mind that, but I just hop on it when I can.
Right. The special guest is packed away. Let's get back to our conversation that we had before that.
Yeah.
So for me, I think it's unethical that a director would be earning less than 150K.
Yeah.
And I'll be saying to them, what are you doing? Go back on staff or work for Waters, his new BDM. Okay. Like, don't carry that weight with you at night when you're trying to hang out with your wife and kids or husband and kids, when you could be going home and not caring about work because you're just an employee.
Yeah.
What's going through your head, Ward? I can see like 3 thoughts going through your head.
The thing for me is, ethically, everyone needs to be financially stable and sustainable within the industry. So the thing is, even the new businesses that are starting off, they won't be able to pay themselves $150,000 straight off.
Not in the first year, no.
No. So they've got to build that up, and they've got to make sure they're sustainable to continue to grow to get to that point. And the thing is, there's people out there like yourself, and as you mentioned, Paul Bryan, that is able to support people to grow. And it's about making those really good connections and making those people that to get around you that know things. Like, I remember the story about Henry Ford, that he went up in court and he was questioned 176 times and he only answered one question. And what he would do is, when they asked him a question, he said, "Sorry, I don't know the answer to that. That's my personal assistant that looks after that for me, or that's my solicitor, or that's my accountant, or that's my so-and-so, or it's my service manager that does that." And the only question that they asked him that he was able to answer is, "What do you actually do in the company?" And he said, "I have the vision. I have the goals. I make things happen." And that's what it was all about.
I hear. Here's the thing. Henry Ford, he was in control of his own pricing.
Yeah.
In NDIS world, we're not in control of our pricing. So then the only levers we have are to be more efficient, as in reduce unnecessary admin, which often, to be honest, means reduce it means reduce over-servicing. A lot of people are over-servicing the participants' families. They can't charge for it, or they choose to not charge for it for it or a combination of both, that has to stop because NDIA will not pay you to do that. So don't do that service. Okay. Like Henry Ford was in charge of his own pricing. If I have a pizza shop, I can add another $5 to a pizza tomorrow.
Yep.
But what we have to do is we have to get really creative and think a bit outside the box and be willing to say no to things that are good things to do. It is a good thing to do to sit down on the phone with someone and chat with their mum for 15 minutes. It's a very good thing to do. It helps. But you can't operate like that because you go broke. So the other thing of what you're saying is often the new providers actually make decent money because they don't have any overheads. The new providers, like in your first year, you're not going to make 150 grand, but you can make a decent amount of money. Often there's this sweet spot where a one-person show makes really good money. When they've got 2 or 3 staff, they make pretty good money. And then between like 4 staff and 10 staff, they can often make less than most of their team because that's the cost of growth. And then later they're hoping that they will end up making more profit. They've turned their business from a niche business into like a scale business.
Yeah.
And I'm oversimplifying. But the problem is, as soon as they start to make real money, it's time to pay payroll tax. Because once it's in New South Wales, I think it's about 1.2 million a year you spend on wages, and suddenly you have to pay 5% extra in payroll tax. Let's do the maths of that. That's like 65 grand a year. If you're 1.2 million. Again, I'm oversimplifying, but it's like you can't build a business on scale in NDIS and think you'll win. You must niche. And so when you're like, well, how much should people earn? It's definitely 150 grand. Otherwise, just go back on staff for 100, But it's also, life is not that simple. And that's why, Ward, I've been saying to people lately, when they say, should I start an NDIS business? I say, no, hell no, don't do it. It's not the right industry right now to get into. Like, wait till the numbers are different. But yeah, I don't know, how unethical is that, telling people don't start a business?
I think that's extremely ethical, to be honest with people.
Yeah, okay, all right. Well, there we go. Mr. Growth and Mr. Ethics, they agree on something. That's one thing in a row. I love it. Okay, that was quite a good show. A lot of people are wondering, Ward, how can they find you and how can they find me? Because you can't just type Mr. Ethics or Mr. Growth into LinkedIn and find us. Okay, well, what's your real name?
Ward Sheehan is my name, and if you want to find out about me, I'm at Ethical Tech.
Okay, and Michael Clark, and you would just need to look up Athletic Koala or Michael Clark or something. But yeah, we do have a real name. Like, you don't go in the shops and say, hi, I'm Mr. Ethics, and I don't go in the shops and say, hi, I'm Mr. Growth.
No, we don't. Not all the time.
It would be quirky, wouldn't it?
It would be.
It's like a dream gone wrong. You know those dreams that you're like, how do I find myself here? Yeah, that would be what happened there.